You know, one of my subscribers told me that the video I just put up today was shit. And you know what? Despite everybody but him liking it, I agree with him. Kudos to you, Halcyon. Let me say this more concisely. Aron Ra is a very high quality atheist channel on YouTube. He does great shit that's just straight science, straight evolution. He's also done a very extensive series on the logical failures of creationists that is magnificent and honestly a must watch. I am a subscriber of Aron Ra, and I have no plans of unsubscribing from Aron Ra because when he puts out shit I don't want to see, I just don't watch it. Unfortunately, there's a reason why I'm talking about him right now, and that's because Aron Ra is a dishonest feminist who, like many feminists, God, I can't even say that word today, feminists, loses all of his logical faculties, all of his skepticism, and all of his honesty when speaking about feminism. Because to him, he's obviously so wedded the ideas of equality, fairness, justice, kindness and compassion, fair treatment, all of this shit, all of these good-natured qualities, feminism. Fuck egalitarianism, fuck humanism, and honestly, really fuck humanism at this point. It's been lost. But he has grown attached to that word and either grown blind, willfully ignorant, or lies about the quality of his feminist peers. I highly doubt that Aron Ra has not been exposed to morbidly toxic feminists. He just ignores them, or maybe he's too much of a chauvinist to ever say anything cross about them. Aron Ra is like Steve Shives, where I've come up here and I've said, this guy was a hero of mine and somebody I admired, and he let me down. However, unlike Steve Shives, Aron Ra has been able to continue doing a channel dedicated to atheism, secularism, and correcting creationists, and has been able to go entire videos on that subject for, 8 years now. When he makes something about feminism, he talks about feminism, and that's actually been very few and far between. See, Aron Ra is big to shit on now, and he made a total ass of himself over a couple of videos that he's put on his channel, just making the most pathetic and asinine and very creationist-esque apology of feminism in those last two videos. But I've known that Aron Ra is a dishonest and unskeptical feminist for over 2 years. In about a 10 or 15 minute section of one of those 45-minute long talks, speeches that he's given, he famously said what has been cited repeatedly now: you're either a feminist or a bigot. There is no in between. And feminism is the only word to describe equality of the sexes and all this stupid bullshit. He said those like 2 fucking years ago. I knew the whole time. But then for 2 years, he didn't talk about it again. And I stayed subscribed. Steve Shives, on the other hand, I unsubscribed about 9 months ago because he lost his fucking mind and became a laughingstock. Aron Ra, I think, will survive this. I hope so. Anyway. And the other thing, the main point that I really failed, I think, to get across in the video that I took down today was a lot of people were using Aron Ra as an example to shame atheism, not an example to shame feminism or to show how somebody who is normally extremely skeptical and intelligent and has a whole fucking extensive knowledge of cladistic genetics, whatever the fuck all that evolution shit is. I watched like 3 or 4 hours of his shit on it. I still don't remember all the lingo. It's nuts. But it's also brilliant. Aron Ra, honestly, deserves to survive this hoopla. as long as he fucking quits using the F word, or at least he keeps it appropriately separate from his atheist content. But people are saying like, oh, this is why I'm ashamed to call myself an atheist. Well, what I've noticed is most atheists I speak to, most atheists I work with on YouTube, or no, I don't monetize, so I don't work, I play with on YouTube, are all anti-feminists. And I mostly talk to atheists. This was originally purely an atheist channel, and most of the channels I subscribed to, and still am subscribed to, that were purely atheist and anti-creationist are almost purely anti-social justice right now, because much like years ago that the creationists were such a great threat to education and legislation and freedom and rights, feminism is that same totalitarian threat now. And it is much more dangerous and much more successful. But anti-feminists and anti-SJWs, like atheists, come in all stripes. Because a lot of those atheist friends I have aren't liberals. They aren't, some of them aren't even interested in politics. Some of them aren't American. Some of them aren't young. And some of them are very young. They come from different age groups. I know a trans atheist. I know a Asian atheist. I know a fucking Mexican atheist. I know a fucking Italian atheist. I know a former Jew atheist. The Jew is conservative. All this shit. What I'm getting at is they're all very diverse, because there's only one thing that makes you an atheist. And this is very important to keep in mind. If you don't believe in God, you're an atheist. The end. That's the whole handbook. That's the entire fuck thing. Being atheist has no worldview, no code of conduct. It has no rules, no regulations, no dogma, no doctrine, no creed, no fucking nothing. No text, no leaders. I mean, there's people that we look up to. There's heroes. There's the Four Horsemen. But they don't tell us what to think, and don't presume to. Not a one of them. So why would anybody be ashamed to be an atheist? Because they think they have to answer for people like Aron Ra. Now, see, what Aron Ra will not admit, something that is absolutely true, is feminism does have a credo. It does have a worldview. It has a lexicon, a lingo. I've done a lot of videos on it, and I will probably do more in the future. It has a culture. It has a fashion sense. It has locations where people go. Everybody has heard of fucking Tumblr. There's many, many more than that. There's feminist blogs. There's feminist writers. There's feminist academic writings. There's feminist university classes. Much like there's theology classes in a university. So when there's this extensive ethos, there's this extensive body of work, there are writings, there is words, there is credos, there is rules of how to be a feminist, and warring sects and all that. They have to answer for each other. At least have to answer for those that really are their peers. That use those, white feminist, black feminist, intersectional feminist, choice feminist, for third wave, second wave. Honestly, all feminism is cancer. All feminism is divisive, social, Marxist bullshit. All of it. All of it. All of it. All of it. I promise you, the more you look into feminist writers, Andrea Dworkin, I don't know how to say her name, fucking Bell Hooks, racist, fucking Valerie Solanas, mad woman, advocator of genocide. These are people from the 60s and 70s, by the way. Gloria Steinem, Madeleine Albright. I mean, it's bad. They have to answer for those people. I don't have to answer for Aron Ra. I don't. There's no fucking rules to atheism. There's no credo. There's no nothing. There's one thing I share in common with Aron Ra. There's more than one thing, but the only one thing in this discussion is that we both don't believe in God. We have very different ideas of socio, political, economics, all this shit. We live in different states. We probably like different music. I certainly would never deem to fucking dress like the guy. But I don't have to answer for any fucking thing Aron says. I am not bound to decry, like Donald Trump fucking decry these protesters who did all this shit. I don't have to decry Steve Shives. I don't have to answer for Steve Shives. I don't have to apologize for Aron Ra. Because there's just that one thing I share in common with them. I care very much about atheism, and honestly, so do they. That's not what we're disagreeing on. However, atheists only have one thing in common, where feminists have a lot more. And that's something I really wanted to get across. So anyway, I hope this video was better, Halcyon. Thanks for watching.